Peace. Supreme Understanding here. If I look like Walt from Breaking Bad, it's because I hadn't had a chance to hit a barbershop in about a week. Been busy as hell. But I had to do a video, and this video is pertaining to this whole government shutdown thing that's going on. By the time you watch it, hopefully it'll be over. You know, if not, here's some details behind it. I think as a teacher, like, you want people to like study for themselves and be able to find the answer on their own. And part of the reason why the American public is so easily fooled is because we don't know how to read independently, and we don't know how to research, we don't know how to investigate, we don't know how to ask questions. So we go to other people for answers, and you know, you can go to Fox News and get a gang of lies, or you can go to one of these crazy off-brand websites and get a gang of lies and tell a different story. And I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just have I'd rather have you just look at the evidence and then follow the trail of breadcrumbs. So let's begin, right? When we're looking at this government shutdown, what's at stake? Okay, we know that it's supposed to be about Obamacare and a health care act. And so most people's understanding is that the Republicans are against it, the Democrats are for it, and they can't agree, and so government is just getting shut down because they can't decide on the budget, right? Well, that only makes sense up to a certain extent. When you dig a little deeper, you start unraveling a few things that weren't apparent at first. So let's begin. Obamacare is one of those things that you could see it one way or the other. You know, it might be a real gain for the pharmaceutical industry, the insurance industry, the medical industry, whoever. People really do stand to make some money off of increasing the privatization of healthcare, right? At the same time, it does accommodate a large number of people who otherwise couldn't afford insurance. People that aren't poor enough for Medicaid while still not making enough money or not being at a job that provides those kind of benefits. So, and also people that couldn't be insured because they had a previously existing condition, which is a lot of people. So, you know, there is different ways to see it, and that's debatable. But really, if you think about it, Obamacare was not just drafted by Obama himself. I mean, there was Republicans involved in putting this whole thing together. So when you think it's just a Democrat versus Republican issue, you kind of fall for this whole thing where it's like you believe in the two parties, like they two arch nemesis, like they just been rivals, they just gonna go, like they war over everything. That's not really the case. Like Jesse Ventura has made it clear that these dudes, they go to the same events, they kick it with each other, they're not Marvel superheroes and villains. Like there's not that. So when we look at the fact that there's a damn shutdown that's, you know, pretty serious. Last time we had something like this, it was in '95. Lasted about 3 weeks. Cost the government a gang of money. Cost the American public a gang of money. Created a whole lot of other issues. And, you know, to do something like this is pretty serious. In fact, it took about 80 Republicans who have been kind of called like a suicide party of Republicans who are just willing to do whatever it takes, including disrupting their own government to pursue their agenda, which is a form of terrorism, if you think about it. But what did it take for these Republicans to really go this hard with it? And who authored this? So if you dig, you'll find that the author of this government shutdown is a guy named Mark Meadows. Mark Meadows is a congressman from North Carolina. It's an unknown fact. He's only been in office about 8 months. So the question becomes, how does a guy who's only been in office for 8 months end up with the political clout to convince 79 Republicans who have been established for a long time, including the House Speaker, I mean, who's been around for 20-something years, to take this drastic of a stand? How does he do that? I mean, how does this guy get in office in the first? I mean, how does this guy get to this point? I mean, he's for those that don't know, I mean, this guy started out as a sandwich shop owner, and not saying that a sandwich shop owner can't become something great, but you need to investigate. You need to look at where the money came from. You need to look at who and what helped him go from being a sandwich shop owner to being a real estate developer to having a net worth of over $6 million and campaign funding, you know, over $1 million. Like, how does that happen? Don't happen by accident. So just dig. Just keep on digging. Dig into the subcommittees that he's involved in and what those implications are for that. Dig into, am I about to run out of time? Nah, I'm good. Dig into where he was born and, you know, I won't get too deep, you know what I mean? Because I would really love for you to find it on your own. But, like, I mean, the place where he was born, at the time that he was born, it was a place where there was a lot of people who worked there at the time who were said to have worked for the army, but they didn't really work for the army. They worked for another branch of the government that doesn't really put itself out there publicly. There's a guy named Manuel Pena who has a lot of history written about him. There's a lot of documentation on him, who was there kind of in that era, kind of as an example of the kind of stuff that happens around that time period, and in that area where he, I think he eventually took on a post as a public safety advisor, which is one of those positions that they give you when you are in that branch of the government and you have to maintain some kind of a stable cover. Right? Well, guess what Mark Meadows was before he was a congressperson? Public safety advisor. This kind of stuff isn't just like a conspiracy theory, because you just gotta, like, you just dig for yourself and you kind of just put the dots together. If you put the dots together, I mean, you know, a lot of stuff is a conspiracy theory, but it's really, are there facts and is there evidence to support it? And my thing is, you just, you know, all you want to do is you just want to have some documentation, you want to have some idea of where your ideas come from, and then you want to look at the results. You want to look at, like, what is the outcome of what's happening. They shut down so much of the government, but then they also passed a bill to make sure that the military, and not just the military, but the military, all covert operations, and all civilian operations that are there to support the military, including those civilian defense contractors and, you know, companies like, you know, the company formerly known as Blackwater, who is now known by another name, but then they was known by another name, and then they were known by another name. I don't even know what name they're known by now. But yeah, like, companies like that still have their funding, and that's going to keep on happening. Like, one thing is, them Democrats and Republicans and Obama and all them, they could disagree on 1,000 things. They gonna make sure to keep that money coming in. They gonna make sure to keep that war machine running. So don't think that they disagree on everything. And don't think that it's always what it seems. And if y'all believe that this whole Tea Party thing is what it's all about, and it's really just that they hate Obama because he's black, okay, they do hate Obama because he's black. Absolutely. But that's the design of people that are in power, to manipulate those who are foolish enough. You see, you stupid white Americans, y'all buy into the whole, like, hate Obama, where's he from, where's he born, like, y'all get distracted by that. Now, I don't know his whole story. My concern is more so with the way that everything works. Like, it's not just one man that I look at. I'm not dumb enough to believe that our entire government is run by one person. I mean, hell, we wouldn't be having this issue if it was. So we know that there's many interests involved, there's many stakeholders involved. But the reason why the American public is so easily led into being so caught up in this man being black and thinking that he's a Muslim and he's pro-black and he's this and he's that, is because you white Americans and the American public period are just so easily manipulated. You just be led to believe any damn thing, and because you buy it, because nobody questions it, because people say just crazy, hypocritical, ridiculous things and nobody questions it, because the Tea Party and people who support them will give money to politicians who don't even speak to their interests. I mean, trying to defund affordable health care when the Tea Party is mostly poor white folks makes no sense. Why do white people vote against their own interests, though? A, because there's an 85% everywhere. There's people that just follow and they just don't question nothing, which is part of my issue with, you know, with people. Like, I'm like, man, just start thinking and looking and listening and just digging for yourself. And the other reason is because white people might disagree on 1,000 things, but when it comes to us, they'll come together. Because unfortunately, race is still one of those things that's a salient factor in the minds of the white collective, whether you're liberal, whether you're conservative, whether you're damn neo-Nazi or you're part of the Green Party. They just don't kick it with us like that. They don't. They ain't trying to see us overpopulate the planet. In their mind, overpopulation is just having a steady population growth rate. Like, in their mind, the only way for the world to be a good place is through depopulation, and we know what that comes with. We've seen what that comes with. If you haven't, that's a topic for another video. So, you know, that's unfortunate, because they like the whole collective consciousness is consistent preoccupation with race, and it's been forever. Race has been an issue forever. Allows things like this to occur, where people vote entirely against their own interests, and they're just so dumb that they don't even think that that might be what they're doing. And I would say, oh, the white people are being tricked too, they're being manipulated, but really I don't feel that much sympathy, because I know that the reason why you're taking that side is because you side with other white folks that want to destroy black and brown people. I don't feel no pity for you. Like, when you now, you really want me to feel like you on my side, then fight white supremacy. Stand up against it. Stand up against everything and anything that threatens the survival of black and brown people. Then I'll know you're for real. But that's another story altogether. Had to end the video on a good note, though. It wouldn't be me if I didn't. Peace.